This week, I wanted to answer more questions that some of our viewers sent in. Hello and welcome back. I'm Adam Rosen. Thanks again for tuning in. If you have not already subscribed, please do so. Click the little notifications tab. It will alert you when these new videos come out. And if you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. In keeping with last week's theme, this week I'm going to answer some more questions that some of my viewers sent in. And I'm going to jump right into it. So the first question here is from Christine, and she basically had two questions. One was, how long will the pain last after knee replacement? She's about 6 months out. And what can she do for the night pain? She states that she's taken, basically, it's the Australian formulation of Tylenol with codeine. So, two questions, really good questions. When it comes to pain, um, pain is a word, but it's a very broad term because the way I always explain to my patients is that, when we replace a knee, we replace 1% of your leg. 99% of your leg is still yours. So your bones are yours, your ligaments are yours, your muscles are yours, your tendons are yours. All of those things can have pain. So if you had an old injury, or you develop something during therapy as far as an injury, you could still have pain from that, not necessarily from the knee implant itself, because there's no nerves there, but you'll still have pain. Most people, and the way that I've always described it is, we'll see improvements in pain and function at about 3 months, 80–90% of the way there. At 1 year, almost everybody is fully recovered or about as good as you're going to get. There are some people that see improvements up to 2 years. They've actually been termed in our literature what's called late starters. I don't really know where the term came from, but it's stuck around. Now, the hard part at 6 months is sometimes what I've experienced is some patients feel they're not getting as well as they expected, and they tend to push harder. So there is a very common overuse phenomenon. And sometimes the best treatment is actually less activity and less motion. So if you're one of those people that's pushing and pushing and pushing, thinking the more you do, the better you're going to get, sometimes it's good to give yourself a break and take a rest, and you might find that symptoms improve. Now, weakness can be a source of pain. So for people that had weakness before surgery or never regained their strength back after surgery, weakness is something that you can work on that can improve pain. The other question always I see lots of second opinions is, why is there pain? Is the implant oversized? Is there instability in the knee? Is there something wrong mechanically? But for most people, if I'm seeing someone at 6 months, x-rays are normal, range of motion's normal, no clinical signs of infection, I usually just counsel them that giving it more time usually will improve pain and symptoms. Now, when it comes to medication and sleep, at 6 months, you really should be off narcotics. And I always tell my patients, narcotics are not a great drug to use simply for sleep. There are other medications if you need medications. Sometimes things like Benadryl, as simple as it is, does work. There are some prescription sleeping agents that most orthopedic surgeons don't always like to prescribe because they tend to be addictive, and it can make you dizzy, which can increase the risk of falling if you do wake up in the middle of the night. Some simple over-the-counter remedies, things like melatonin, and sleep hygiene, avoiding screen time like this for 2 hours before sleep, and making sure that you set a sleep schedule. So go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. But the sleep is something that can improve. Go back and check. I do have a video all about insomnia, and you might find some additional tips in there. And I hope this has answered your questions. So next question I'm going to cover is basically two people's questions all in one. The first question is from cmagarg2288 and had a couple questions. So one was exercise routine between week 1 and 12, tips to make a total knee replacement last longer, nutrition tips, and managing weight loss. And that kind of blends into the question that Steve from Vancouver, Washington had about perioperative nutrition and supplements. So let's start first with probably the biggest question, and I'm not really going to go into a lot of depth here about what exercises should you do between week 1 all the way through week 12. I have a lot of videos. There's like over 100 knee replacement videos where I show extension exercises for straightening, 3 or 4 videos on flexion exercises. There's a video about how to use a stationary bike, so you can use all of those. Now, I will create a video probably soon about something what's called the quiet knee protocol. And this has been researched and presented at a number of our meetings by the Hospital for Special Surgery. And it falls in line with another great book out there, Managing Swelling After Knee Replacement by Dr. Andy Wickline. His book and the quiet knee protocol, if you want to look them up, has very specific numbers when it comes to steps on week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. They very detailed spell it out. I have for many years used an app-based program that my patients get, which give a range because someone that's very active may be able to do more after recovery, and someone that's more sedentary may not be able to do as many steps or repetitions just because they're older or sicker or less active. So this is the hard part to answer your question because I don't know what your range of motion is like and what your ability to exercise is like. So every single patient is going to be different. The one important key that I will give you is that focus number one on swelling control and range of motion. So what I always tell my patients is when you leave the hospital, you should be able to sit in a chair with your knee at 90 degrees. At 2 weeks, you should be at 100. At 4 weeks, you should be at 110. And at 6 weeks, you should be at 120. And again, that's for most normal knees. Somebody that has a really stiff knee before surgery, those numbers might shift down a little bit. And someone that had great range of motion before surgery might achieve those goals a little bit quicker. But that sort of 10 degrees every 2 weeks is a pretty good metric because the further you get from surgery, the harder it is to get bending and straightening. The other next thing the patients can work on is strengthening. So once you get motion, then you can work on strengthening. If people work on strengthening from day one, they tend to avoid the motion exercises. Then you get stiff. Stiff knees tend to be painful and hurt. And the very last thing, which I tell patients not to focus on a lot, is endurance. When you feel better, this is at the 12, 14, 16 week mark, you're increasing your time on a bike or elliptical or walking. You're doing things that are going to build up endurance, which can only be improved upon slowly and over time. But this is where your doctor and therapist are going to come in handy because if you are complaining of more pain and you're pushing too much with your exercise, they're going to slow you down. And if you're stiff and not doing enough, even if you might have pain, they might push you a little harder. So work with your team very diligently. Now, the second part of your question, tips to make a knee replacement last longer. Well, number one, first most important thing is maintain a healthy weight. And I think this probably ties into your last question about how do you manage weight loss. The nice thing is that after knee replacement or any major surgery, the amount of calories your body burns goes up significantly, which is why when I'll talk about the next part, the nutritional tips is so important because after surgery, your body's burning a lot of calories to heal. And then a lot of people tend to not have a big appetite. So when you're burning calories and you need calories to heal, if you're not eating, you're going to then have problems with healing and wound complications and potentially an increased risk of infection, which is why we always discuss the role of nutritional supplements. If you can lose weight before surgery, that's great because it lowers your risk of complications, things like infections or blood clots or ligament damage. But for many people, they struggle with losing a lot of weight before surgery because their knee hurts. So if you can lose weight before surgery, great. Number one, after surgery, just know that your body will burn calories. You'll lose weight quicker, faster. But to keep it off, you need to maintain a healthy lifestyle, which is exercise on a regular basis, 30 to 60 minutes, 7 days a week, and eat healthy foods. I always tell my patients, if you're buying it in a can or a box or frozen, aside from like frozen vegetables, it's probably processed and not super healthy for you. If you eat fruits and vegetables and proteins, potentially more fish than other proteins like meat, red meat. And nuts tends to be a really, really good, healthy sort of way of eating. If you eat predominantly those foods, you're getting foods that are high in fiber, high in vitamins, high in nutrients, and not processed foods that are high in calories without any nutritional value. And that becomes a lifelong change, not a 6 week or 12 week diet. Now, getting on to the last question that both you and Steve had about perioperative nutrition, and I have 2 videos about this, so go back and watch them. One was a while ago, and for many, many years, I recommended to my patients over-the-counter essential amino acids before surgery and after surgery. Why? There have been a number of studies that actually show that it improved strength and decreased atrophy of the quadriceps muscle after surgery, such as knee replacement and ACL reconstruction. So it was really, really important for me to get my patients to use these supplements before and after surgery, and it aided in their recovery. Now, in the past few years, there have been a number of companies that have come out with specific surgical perioperative nutritional supplements. And these supplements tend to help patients heal. They improve strength and endurance and basically just accelerate their rehab. Many of these are quite expensive. Some of them require a referral from your doctor. So the more recent video talks about all the different companies and brands that are out there and available. For some of my patients, if they can't afford these really expensive, super specialized surgical ones, the simple ones, a lot of people can find things like Boost and Ensure. They're really easy to find. But you can also find these other protein powders, whether or not you want a whey powder or a pea protein powder, but you can buy the powders and mix it in whatever liquid you want. And I have my patients try to do one or two of these a day before, a week or two before surgery, and a week or two after surgery, barring that they don't have any significant kidney issues or things like that. And it tends to really help their progress. As far as food, which is kind of Steve's second question, again, it kind of fits into the first one. Most people don't have a big appetite after surgery. So, sure, any food that you can eat that is high in protein and calorie dense is going to be good after surgery because you're probably not going to have this huge appetite and consume a lot of food. Well, if you stuck around this long, thanks for listening. And if you're curious about all the little sticky notes, I'm working on another book and it's kind of my outline. So I'm trying to figure out the timeline. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this sort of new format of answering your questions. And again, if you do have questions, leave them in the comment section. I do try to read every single question. And if there's questions that come up, I will try to answer them in future videos. As always, thanks again for watching. I'm Adam Rosen. And until next time, stay safe.